What's been the hardest thing, just talking about that point, being a small business owner and an entrepreneur?
Let's see. Waking up every morning.
Waking up, just getting out of bed.
Yeah. That's probably the hardest thing, especially when you have a dope memory foam mattress like me.
You gotta get rid of that bed.
That's what I told my friend. I was like, I need to get rid of it because
Sleep on the floor.
I know. I agree. I need to do that. But I guess the hardest thing, developing a personal brand, developing your voice so that you can continue making connections and getting clients, and also financially like affording some of the tools necessary, like better gear.
Yo, Philly, listen up to all our small business owners.
Not just our small business owners, also our entrepreneurs, our creators, our dreamers, our doers.
This is Small Business Saturday. Every week we're dropping knowledge about small businesses. Man, you know what? Just listen to the podcast.
But we try to do a cool intro. But however, we promise the podcast, we will be dropping gems, we will be dropping knowledge, we will be dropping tools you need to succeed in your small business.
All right, so every week, every Saturday, stay tuned for Small Business Saturday.
Let's get it. Okay, guys, Delilah here.
And Mac.
We are so excited to bring you yet another episode of Small Business Saturdays. And I am personally over ecstatic because we have the one, the only, the legendary Melissa Alam. If you don't know about her, shame on you, but it's all good because you're about to learn about her now. So just to give you a quick background, she is a multi-passionate entrepreneur. She's a digital marketing strategist. She literally does everything. Not only she's the founder of Fearless Con, she's been the founder and CEO of the Hive, Femme Fortune. She's done so much. You know that whole, so have you ever heard of the term, jack of all trades but master of none?
Yep.
She is definitely the opposite of that. Not only is she the Jane of all trades, but she is the master of all. This girl literally finds out every single day, like, oh, wait, I can do this too? I can do that? Okay. Anyway, that's your intro right now. I don't want to say too much. I'm excited to have you. We're excited to have you.
I love it.
Yay!
She's like,
Thanks,
okay.
guys. My energy levels need to match yours. Okay.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's okay. We work with it.
They call her the plug. Yeah, she
Right?
just plugged you hard.
Okay. I do what I does. I can be, side note, if anyone wants to hire me to be your hype man or your hype girl, whatever,
Yeah.
I am your
The
person.
main squeeze. That was a great, very warm introduction. So thank you, Melissa.
Hey, Mac.
That was something. So now I know a lot more about you.
Mm-hmm.
But for everybody listening, maybe from your perspective, tell us about you.
Yeah, I'm really just a homebody. Thanks for the hyping up of my life.
She's
but
like, okay, I'm kind of cool, I guess.
I take a lot of naps. So yeah, I live in Philadelphia. I've been here for about 12 years now, but I think 12 years. Going on my 13th, actually. I went to Temple, and I have been just kind of creating my own career path here in Philly. So I run my own business. I do freelance creative strategy, design, and photography for clients. And I host a lot of events because I love community and I love hosting events. And I have 2 conferences I host. One is for women called Fearless Con, and the other one is called Study Hall, which is for creatives and freelancers.
That's during Philly Tech Week.
Yeah,
Yes.
So Study Hall Summit was last year. I actually am trying, and I love saying it out loud in interviews.
Go ahead,
when I
girl.
get interviewed, because it's like accountability. I'm like, crap, I said it to someone, I have to host it now. But I am trying to host a second part called Recess, which I'm trying to have as like a field day for entrepreneurs and creatives who don't have like coworkers to talk to or like throw football to during the day. So we'll see. But
So you did Study Hall during Philly Tech Week, what, last year?
Mhm.
When was that? So it's like the whole
May
week long.
2nd.
May 2nd?
Yeah, so
Got the date.
it was a Wednesday, I believe. It was an all-day thing at Warehouse on Watts, and we had a few different panels. It was 90s themed, so we had like Gushers and Capri Suns. I forgot the Lunchables, which I was so mad because I would have made it. But like we had a DJ doing like 90s hip-hop, and then Yeah, it was fun. We had dessert after.
I remember seeing that on the schedule. I was like, yo, I gotta check that out.
Oh,
I don't know
well,
why I didn't.
yeah, where were you?
Yeah. Clearly not having fun.
And this is where I take over. So Melissa, anyone who knows you, they know you as a serial entrepreneur. You definitely dabble in a lot of things. So kind of tell us about, like, where did it all get started? Like, what was your first major project you tackled? Like the first business you started, the first LLC you started? Just that, go a little bit back into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have always loved being entrepreneurial. I used to sell random stuff to boys in 6th grade.
Yes. Take all their coins.
Yeah. I used to sell like magazine clip outs for their lockers.
Really?
Yeah, and then I tried to start a side hustle for my mom. She's a seamstress and like would sew all my shit. And then I tried to sell like skirts and stuff that she would sew to my friends at school. So I don't know. You gotta be a hustler when you're a daughter of an immigrant, and your parents don't my mom didn't really speak like English very well, so I had to, be that rep for her, that middleman, the middlewoman. So and she was a hustler too. She was like babysitting and a seamstress, so I got that drive from her, I'd have to say. But after college, and even during college at Temple, I was very active in Greek life, and I was part of a new sorority on campus. So building up an entity or organization was like what I loved doing. I might not have been like the friendliest sister. Like the sisterhood part came secondary.
You were the strategist.
The
You got things done. Yes.
The president part I loved, and I had a lot of experience hosting events there. And so after college, I think the first business I started was called Greek or Woodworks Paddles. So me and my big sister in the sorority, who I'm very good friends with, we went to Target yesterday and the day before. We're still awesome friends, but we started a paddle business where.
What's that mean? Like a paddle business?
So in Greek life, yeah,
you paddle someone?
No, you get it's a gift you give to a new person who joins. So big brothers give it to.
I've watched too many college movies.
I mean,
getting paddled.
I mean, that's just a stereotype. So.
So you were president of the
Yeah.
sorority. Okay, wow.
Yeah. It was a small South Asian one. We had 10 members at a time. It's called Kappa Phi Gamma. But we would sell paddles, and the profit margin was huge on that because we get the wood from Home Depot. She was the carpenter side. I was the marketing, and we would upcharge it sometimes we'd get the wood for $11, and that paddle would cost $66. So we were making a huge profit. And so that was kind of my first taste of starting a business with a partner. And ever since then, I've probably had 6, 7, 8 other businesses. But they keep getting better, like a fine wine, I say.
Okay.
What came next for you then after that? So you were still in school at Temple, and you had the paddle business, and you're in Greek life. What were you studying, by the way?
I was a marketing and international business major. But I was a slacker. I went to boarding school, so college at Temple was easy for me, and I just didn't care. I was probably a B+ student. I had more fun with my internships and all the event planning I was doing.
A lot of extracurricular stuff on the side.
Yeah, I never studied for exams. I was always trying to have a party in the tech center at Temple. People were we are trying to pass this class. I studied for.
We're C's get degrees.
Yeah. I just work better last minute under pressure. So even with exams or essays, I just do it the morning of, just because I don't know, inspiration strikes when when there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So
it sounds just because I changed my major to advertising with minors in business and entrepreneurship, which just freed up so much time from studying for economics finals.
Oh hell yeah!
I was okay, now I get to do whatever I want in my spare time, focus on making money.
And it doesn't even matter what you do in college, honestly.
Yeah.
It's the people you meet, the connections you make. Most people don't even, they don't even work in the same field as what they majored in. It's just bullshit. So
something I kind of want to touch on is, so when you're talking about when you did your Woodworks Paddles business with your girlfriend, and this is something I stress heavily on, is just kind of utilizing your resources in your community. How can we help each other grow? So with you were good at marketing. With your friend, she was good, on craftsmanship. Craftsmanship.
Operations.
So, but no, this is something that's important to consider,
Yeah.
especially if you're starting a business or anyone is like launching a project. See what traits like people carry that that you surround yourself with, what are they good at, and how you guys can come together and just kind of how you can complement each other and essentially like make money together if anything. So I love that. I mean, you kind of just touched on that.
I mean, they say find a partner or co-founder that has a different skill set, but I also think another, taking it a step further, is having the curiosity to learn their skill set as well. Just because if anything happens, if they're sick one day, how to run the social media or fix stuff on the website, even the basic stuff, but like having that ability just in case something happens.
So moving forward, I guess taking that point one step more, when you try to find somebody now, like, are there other people around you? How do you sort of run your business? Do you need other people? Do you hire other people?
I don't know if I need them, but I want them.
Right. Of course.
No.
You don't want to do everything yourself.
So, I mean, I'm in the phase where I'm trying to grow and build, and I do have some freelancers that I work with that I pay as well. And so it's been fun to outsource and not be running around at an event doing the photography, moderating the panel, putting the food out, putting the chairs out, and I thank God for my friends, because a lot of my friends have been there, like bartending, checking people in. It literally takes a village, and I wouldn't be able to do all the things I wanted to do and have these big dreams if I didn't have friends that helped me out. So yay friends, internet friends, IRL friends, everyone. But I am trying to hire a junior graphic designer.
That's what you look for now.
Yeah. So, and hopefully that grows, and maybe I can bring on another web designer. And I love doing the business operations part of brand, bringing in the business basically, and negotiating and
so more than sales.
Yeah.
Okay.
So biz dev is what I was trying to say, but we'll see.
What I guess focusing on that for a second, I'd say that's one of my biggest struggles in most small business owners is finding good people and then retaining good people, and just the whole HR thing, like hiring, firing, all that.
Yeah.
Do you have any, I guess, insight or suggestions to people listening?
I am probably the wrong person to talk to about how to legally do a business, run a business. I even don't even consider these as businesses. They're just ideas I've had, or projects, or I call them my fake companies. I don't know if that's imposter syndrome. Could be, but
it's definitely imposter, because you've built legitimate companies.
Well, I mean, I just know my way around Photoshop, I don't know. I'm an imposter.
Just crop other people into an image.
I just don't it's Lord of the Rings. It's just
it's gonna be that meme when you go to Sam's Club and you put all these different disguises for the Sam is. It's gonna be all her face, but just different wigs, different hats
in the audience.
It's like when you send out the video Christmas card of you and your team dancing.
Hey, all right, we get it, guys. I'm a fraud. Okay.
But you got it done. Look.
I'm trying to be better.
But to produce an event, you've got to have somebody reliable who's going to show up and be there and care about
what they're doing.
So finding those people, is it just friends of friends?
Or people that have shown interest, and I am working with someone that has her own event planning company and just started out, and she wanted to help me out at FearlessCon, and she was literally my right hand this year at FearlessCon, and I've hired her for other events now. So it's kind of we all have to build each other up here in Philadelphia, and I think that's why we're still here and we're running businesses. It's such a supportive community, and you also have to show your don't go into things thinking, oh, I need to be paid right away, unless it's a huge brand you're working with, because a lot of the best relationships I've made is volunteering at someone's event, and then or having a volunteer at one of my events, and then the next one I pay her. People need to see your work ethic a little bit first before and opportunities arise or doors open. So I always tell people work hard and make the right connections, and just you'll see the rewards to that labor hopefully in the future.
Yeah. With some of the younger people listening who are maybe in college or looking to start a business, what were the next steps and hurdles that you had to jump after college and graduating and all that?
Yeah, so I worked at some agencies before I quit and went freelance just right away. And freelance, be prepared to hustle because it wasn't like right away I had like awesome clients. I was working with clients that wanted to pay me, or I charged them like $200 for a website, and they were asking for discounts, and yet they had like huge mansion, like nice apartments in Northern Liberties, and I was like, you can't pay for a $200 website, like very cheap clients.
I need to hire you. You're still doing $200
No.
websites.
Get out of here. So I started off with like very low rates because I wanted to build my portfolio.
Right.
And on top of that, I was hustling. I was like doing so many side gigs all over the city, everywhere. I was like handing out flyers in Chinatown. I was once on a Segway handing out coupons for like cough medicine. And
amazing.
yeah, and it's just I would do the most random stuff, but it was like these brand ambassador gigs that would pay for my gas money or my food that week because I didn't have like expenses that like very high expenses, thankfully. But yeah, be prepared to hustle and network.
Thank you for that. I want to stop right there because I think so many kids and students who want to be an entrepreneur don't understand what's what's involved. They might still have the rent or phone bills paid for by their parents, and I want to be an entrepreneur. Like maybe my college was paid for. Many of us have opportunities like that, but then it's okay when life gets real, and you're talking about put in the time, put in the hustle at a lower rate to build up your skill set and your portfolio. And I just don't think many people think like that. I think it's valuable.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially when it comes to working with clients, they think, oh my gosh, I don't have a huge following. How am I supposed to get clients? If you do great work, just make your own like projects. A lot of the businesses that we mentioned in the beginning of this like Hive Fest are all just projects that I thought of in my bedroom and designed, and I get hired by real clients now because they've seen my work on these, quote, projects / businesses and companies that I've created. So create your own portfolio with just like, if you're a graphic designer, mock up, a random brand so people find out about your, like learn your style and then share it with the world, and then you can start building up clients because you don't want to just sit there waiting for a client when you can be creating some amazing work to be seen.
Exactly. So how long have you been in business? You've been on your own for a while now.
Yeah, just all by myself. I have been in business. I went freelance in 2012. So this is year 7 of freelancing. And I started my female empowerment, entrepreneurship side of things back in 2013 with Femme Fortune, and then the Hive, which was a co-working space, and then Fearless Con, the first one was in 2015. So this will be my 5th year. Doesn't make sense, but I've had 4 others.
So I know you just briefly touched on the Hive right now, so I do want you to talk about that a little bit more because I know at the time it was Philadelphia's premier co-working space for women. Really big deal here, and I want you to acknowledge just you. I wish you guys could see her face right now. But no, this is what's really important, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. Like we may have like these visions, these goals, and everything will go our way. Sometimes it doesn't, but it's okay. So I kind of want you to share a little backstory of the Hive and what did you learn from it, like throughout the entire process from it. Any gems you can give to anyone who's in the process of starting their business, and just kind of the highs and lows of the Hive.
Oh man, it was an awesome experience, and that's something that I was very lucky to have a mentor at the time who cut me a deal, and she was moving out of that space and gave it to me because I told her about my idea, and she helped me financially a little bit as well, and my mom helped, so I was definitely had the privilege of that. But I moved back home the second I thought of the idea and found, reached out to my mentor. I moved back home so I could save money for it. I lived at home for 2 months only because it was I launched, I had the idea in August. I signed the lease in September, and then I got the keys in October and launched November 1st. So it was like my first like business. I was 26 when I opened. I know if I opened that now, I'd be much better at it.
Yeah.
I didn't have like a business model because I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I hate writing shit out.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did have was the branding and design, and
Yes.
I had an intern at the time who leaked it to TMZ. No, I'm kidding. Our version, aka technically Philly, and they wrote something. I was on like the front page of, obviously because it's a new article, but it was cool because I had my former boss at the agency, the last agency I worked, had an article with his face on it. I'm like on the same homepage as him.
Wow, look at
Look at me
that.
now.
Yeah, it was cool. I was like, okay. And from there, I got a ton of press, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So that whole month of October before I launched was like me working every night. Also working with clients, because I can't stop working with clients because that's what's paying for the furniture and the paint, because I didn't have funding before I opened. It was very bootstrapped, and that was a word I learned at an interview. This guy was like, "Are you bootstrapping?" And I was like, "Yes."
You're like, that sounds sexual.
I had no idea what it meant, but then I looked it up. I'm like, I am. And I was just using my own money, aka bootstrapping. And so, yeah, I was every night was just like working, painting the place, going to thrift stores in Jersey, finding cheap furniture, finishing client work at the time, designing websites, interviewing with press, and making like the PR market. Like I was just a team of one. I had a few friends that were helping me, thank God, like painting and like that stuff that I suck at. But yeah, it was a lot of work. I loved it because we had events that were very. We had open mic nights in there. We had workshops. It was an amazing space. The overhead was just too much, and so I didn't sign the lease when it came time 18 months later in 2016, and
I didn't resign.
Yeah, I didn't sign the lease again.
Okay.
And I left that, and I went to Berlin to cry. But I had like a one-way ticket to Berlin that I had booked before, so it coincided like the same time. But I continued hosting the events because that's the most successful thing, and the lease, it doesn't have any overhead. So, I miss the Hive, and I am happy to say that I had the idea before, like the Wing and the Riveter, like all these huge spaces are getting like seed funding and investors and stuff, and that could have been me, but I just.
What's your biggest lesson from it?
Have a team.
Yes.
I had an awesome girlfriend who's also a sorority sister of mine. She just graduated college, and she was helping me like run the spot and help me with Fearless Con. Thanks, Nikki. So she really, really helped me survive when I couldn't pay her. Because I wasn't making any money, but I learned to, delegate and grow a team. I had some interns from Temple that helped out, that was awesome. They would come to the space in Old City. But what I learned is next time I want to at least have a Kickstarter or get funding before opening another space. Because I was working like a hamster in a wheel, just like every month, like
to pay the bills.
I was going heavy with client work and website design, and I got a lot of clients from it too, so it worked, but it was just too much work for me.
I feel I understand the hamster wheel thing, especially when money's really tight. It kind of clouds your vision. You
don't have time for like bigger picture thinking because it's every day.
Exactly.
So that's why it didn't survive, because I didn't have, and I couldn't even get funding. I mean, it's not like I didn't try, but I met with Comcast and I met with these like female entrepreneur alliances for like their incubators or whatever, and I didn't get them, and that was kind of disheartening. So I was like,
well, plus you probably didn't have the time to put together things they needed to see or hear, because you're doing client work and also like trying to build out the space and managing the space and all that.
I mean, I put together a sick ass pitch deck, but with some pretty good ideas. I don't know.
Do you think it's probably because at that time they didn't realize just how powerful the woman purchasing and buying power is in general? Because I think it's interesting, like you said, like you think of the Wing, like how huge it is right now.
Yeah.
Just spaces like that, and just knowing, okay, like why, like I know it can be like a little frustrating too, but
Yeah.
because it's like I had that idea too, but I mean I love that you're able, like this was amazing. I remember, so this was before, I'm honored to call myself her friend or whatever, but before, because I stand over her for so long, like I've seen, no, because even when the Hive like first opened, because a lot of people, because that was around the time when I started my brand for Delilah and Company, and people were like, they knew I was always about women empowerment. They're like, Delilah, you need to check this out, you need to check this out. So I was always like, just following an Instagram page and just kind of like, oh, who is this girl? So I mean, it's kind of cool, but I mean, I think, like, this is life, this is life. Sometimes you'll throw out ideas, you go for it, and it won't go exactly how you plan, but you don't let that stop you. I mean, and look, like, you just kept on going. I mean, regardless of you crying in Berlin, that's cool, but you came back. You came back, head up high, and just like, okay, what's next?
I got Sally Mae to pay back. Got bills to pay.
The question on that. So when I moved here like 3.5 years ago, I was looking for a co-working space within the first couple months, and I was living in like Spring Garden area, and I remember seeing the Hive, and I don't know if I called or messaged you, but I saw it was like for female entrepreneurs. I was like, will they still accept me? Like, can I apply to this? And I think I might have got shut down.
Dang, I wish I still had access to my email. I love, because Philly's so small, you meet people, if you don't meet them now, you'll meet them in 2 years. So
yeah, exactly.
That's how it's worked for all of us in here. But yeah, that's, I got that question a lot. And I mean, I don't really pay attention to men who don't support a space for women when they have all the spaces that they've ever wanted or needed. So
I've got a question regarding the Berlin thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I like to say when you get knocked down or when you get punched in the face as an entrepreneur, is there anything that would pretty much force you to get a job instead of doing something on your own to make money?
If I don't have health insurance, so if I needed to pay some huge medical bills,
Good one.
Honestly, no, because then I would just create another conference on my own. I will never go back. But yeah, I don't know. I think health would probably be the only thing.
Pretty important.
Otherwise, I would just figure out a way to make whatever I needed, make that money, make that connection, whatever. Yeah.
Would have been. I want to move forward and talk about like where you're at now. But what's been the hardest thing, just talking about that point, being a small business owner and an entrepreneur?
Let's see. Waking up every morning.
Waking up, just getting out of bed.
Yeah. That's probably the hardest thing, especially when you have a dope memory foam mattress like me.
You gotta get rid of that bed.
That's what I told my friend. I was like, I need to get rid of it because
sleep on the floor.
I know. I agree. I need to do that. But I guess the hardest thing, I guess some people, developing a personal brand, developing your voice so that you can continue making connections and getting clients, and also financially like affording some of the tools necessary, like better gear. I know money is a huge thing. When I was first starting out, thankfully I had a roommate, so my rent was pretty low, like $400 a month or something, and I would put money back from the $200 websites I was making into buying better lenses or buying a course or flying to Cali for a conference. So prioritizing personal development and investing in yourself and your business, I think, is so important and not always done.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm glad that I made a conscious decision of being an entrepreneur and just like a really small business owner and agency owner is when I was making like really good money before scaling and building a team and reinvesting my profits into that, I was like, oh yeah, I could buy a really nice car, or like think about buying a house or this or that. But you don't know what's going to happen next. Like you could lose a big client, you could lose a big contract, and then you've got payments on this house. It's like live below your means until like you're really stable, which might be a while as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, don't do what that Billy dude did for Fire Festival.
Oh my Lord, yes.
Biggest scammer of.
I think I read that there's actually like a college course behind that right now too. I forgot what school it is, but someone, they're actually doing a whole course behind that scam. Like, what?
Fire Festival course.
Funniest thing. Yeah.
So I mean, he talked about just kind of like what's one of the worst things of anything, but what would you say is one of the best things about being a small business owner?
You know what? Glass half full.
Yes.
Thank you, Delilah. The best thing is sleeping in.
Worst things, waking up. Best things, sleeping in.
Yeah. It's just having control over your life in that aspect. I know a lot of people find that control satisfying in gyms and with their body. I necessarily don't. I'm trying.
I'll eat food and sleep.
Hashtag fake fit life. We're trying.
But I think having control over your career is like what like invigorates me, and I don't need that structure, and I'd rather not have a boss. And if you do, that's great. That's, not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur. But I love, getting my own clients, deciding who I want to work with, charging how much I want, making an idea into reality, working with dream partners and brands. What else? Just the flexibility that I do this so I can travel as well. So I put money into traveling, and that's a big part of me. And I still work while I travel. I'm not out there sipping mojitos on the beach. There's a laptop on my lap while I sip those mojitos. But yeah, just having the freedom is what excites me.
Same
and what I live for.
thing.
Yeah, the freedom, man.
Once you scale to a certain level, you can't really travel anymore. And if you do, it's
maybe that's why I haven't scaled.
Yeah, it's like your team will be like, oh, they're traveling again.
Yeah, it's really hard to manage a team. I mean, I just hired a virtual assistant for helping me with some of my freelance work, and I owe her a bunch of emails. So, I understand how I work best. And honestly, I work best late at night, boomeranging emails for 7 a.m. the next morning.
Yes, same exact thing.
I'm more of a night owl.
Same, which is why we like sleep.
Yeah, I was just up watching Netflix last night. So and working. I mean, kind of. I took a break. Self-care, guys. Self-care.
Okay. Happy medium.
So fast forward. What are you working on now? I know you have a lot of different things going on. But what's going on now?
So I'm continuously working on new clients work. So I have about 9 to 12 clients sometimes at a time. And I'm working on, creating their brand, everything from their website. Yesterday I did a photo shoot in Old City for a client for her website. Branding, I run social media for a few clients. This week I was working on creating a digital course and designing that.
I like it.
For a client. So that was a good experience, interesting experience as well. And I learned a lot from that. And then also some events. So I have Fearless Con in September, but I'm hoping to have that recess event I mentioned this April or this Philly Tech Week as well. So, and then I work with Bumble. So I host events every month with Bumble, which is awesome.
I feel like I heard about that. Maybe you were telling me about that too. Real quickly, next steps, because you got a couple events coming up, what's next for you?
Yeah, what's next? I'm just trying to run away to Morocco, find a good Wi-Fi connection, just live there. But
I like it.
Yeah, I'm starting to teach again. I teach at UArts.
Yeah, she does. I'm sorry, she does it all. She's a professor too.
And I teach how to be dope on Instagram. But it's actually called Visual Creative for Digital Media. It's got a cooler name. But I'm starting to teach. And then I'm also on the side, actually tonight, I have to go soon, but I have comedy class at 6. So
nice.
I do stand-up comedy when I can. So that's every Wednesday in Center City.
And where are you located?
Fishtown, or Kensington.
Stick with that.
Yeah.
Well, so for anyone who's interested and maybe want to be a potential client of yours or just seeing more of your work, where can they find you? Yeah,
you can find me at melissaalam.com, and then I am Ring the Alam, ALAM, all over the socials. So stalk me, just kidding. But
and last but not least, for everybody listening, just being a digital marketing and branding sort of type of podcast, what questions do you have for us that we might be able to help you out?
Yeah, I would love to know how you guys decided to partner and what that was like because it's such a unique partnership.
Go ahead, Mac.
That's a good question. So
He was the one to pitch me.
So one of the companies I own is phone repair, really like electronics repair. I fixed her phone in college at Penn State.
Yeah. And we both went to Penn State together. So we both know our mutual friend Abu.
Abu,
So we all three know Abu, but that's
Yeah.
how, we love you. Actually, I'm going to meet him for dinner later on today.
So she was putting on an event. I couldn't make it to, but then she invited me to another event she was doing with Google out at 1776 with Bethesda, and we connected there again. And love her vibe, love her presence, and we wanted to take this into a podcast where it's like co-host, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Interview cool people.
Okay.
Here's he had the Delilah effect, and he's just like, I need to work with you.
Seriously.
Yeah, and then in terms of starting a podcast, what were the biggest obstacles you had to overcome to start this podcast?
Still going over them.
Right, yeah.
Still figuring out audio.
Right,
just kind of like even right before you came here, how do we use this mic? What does this button do? So the good thing though, Mac has an amazing team. He definitely has a great tribe behind him, so they handle all the editing and they'll handle the visuals for the podcast and stuff. But just us just trying to get the audio, we're like, okay, what does this button do?
It's tough to do something that doesn't generate revenue, but it's a passion project, and we want to grow it and make it into something bigger and better.
Yeah. Aww.
Aww, so cute. All right, guys. Well, that is all we have for you today. We are so thankful for you, Melissa, coming out, hanging out with us, sitting down, talking about your life and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, any final tidbits?
No,
Mac?
Melissa, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
This has been great.
Thanks for texting me after I forgot.
Okay.
All right, everyone. We will catch you next Saturday for another episode of Small Business Saturday. Thanks for listening.
Signing out.